over to here. You're doing the setup.
Stuff to country.
Where's John?
Yep, John's right.
Hi, John.
We're live.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Let's get started. Is everyone doing okay on sound? I'm here. Wait, 10. Is everyone okay on sound? No, not really.
Yes.
Sound is no good?
No, it's fine. It's good.
Okay, everyone's good? Okay. All right, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joy Chen, a smoke damage survivor and executive director of the Eaton Fire Survivors Network. We're here today to call on Governor Gavin Newsom to urge Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara to resign so that he can install new leadership at the Department of Insurance who will enforce the law and rebuild an insurance system that every Californian can trust. We take no joy in calling for anyone's resignation. Sorry. We take no joy in calling for anyone's resignation. But as survivors, we are living firsthand in the depths of California's insurance crisis. Today, California faces two insurance collapses. One, families can no longer buy or renew coverage. Two, and those who have it cannot collect on the benefits they've already paid for. Yesterday morning, the New York Times published a front-page expose revealing that in 2023, Commissioner Lara secretly struck a deal with insurance companies, incentivizing them to dump tens of thousands of California families ahead of the Los Angeles fires, while securing rate hikes for themselves. Now, that deal was supposed to protect Californians from the FAIR Plan. Instead, FAIR Plan enrollment nearly doubled, and thousands of families lost coverage just before disaster struck. For us, Eaton and Palisades fire survivors you see here, that revelation was a slap in the face. Because for 10 months now, we've been fighting illegal delays and denials from the very insurers we paid for decades. Today, you'll hear from survivors and advocates who are living this crisis every single day. After the program, we'll hold a Q&A. And then, perhaps the most important part of today, the survivors standing behind me will be available for on-the-record interviews to share their stories from the front lines. We have an unprecedented housing crisis on our hands here in Los Angeles. And that's why it is so urgent that Governor Newsom act now. As we speak, families are draining retirement accounts and maxing out credit cards just to keep a roof over their heads. Local mental health providers are reporting a surge in suicidal ideation. This is not just about fire survivors. It's about every Californian who pays insurance premiums and expects a promise kept. And to show how this crisis, I'm trying to hold this. So let's begin with one of our survivors here today. Branislav Ketzman is an Eaton Fire survivor who paid premiums faithfully for 12 years before being dropped by State Farm, just months before the fire. Branislav?
My wife and I lost our house in Altadena after being there for 12 years. We were loyal customers of State Farm for 12 years. And in July of last year, they informed us that they would be not renewing our insurance policy, which is a little above, as you can imagine. We scrambled to find alternate insurance, but we were not able to. So we went to the California program. California program insurance premium doubled, and our coverage dropped by a third. And so here we are now. It is a large home, 4,000 square feet. My wife's an artist. She had an art studio in the home. So everything is lost, and now we're looking at rebuilding with this reduced coverage. And we really feel betrayed by our system, especially our commissioner that's supposed to fight for our interests instead of, so to speak, being inside with the insurance companies. So we deserve better, and we expect better from our leaders. So I'm here to represent our Eaton Fire Survivors, demanding change in the leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Branislav. Your story is one of tens of thousands that Californians now share. Families who did everything right and still lost everything. And that brings us to the second insurance crisis that our state is now facing, the delays and denials. People who've paid their insurance premiums faithfully for 20 or 30 years. But when disaster strikes, their insurers disappear. I want you to hear from Jill Spivak, a longtime Pacific Palisades resident, whose experiences shows what happens when survivors try to claim the benefits they've already paid for. Jill?
Hi, I'm Jill Spivak, a longtime Pacific Palisades resident and a Palisades Fire survivor. My husband and I raised our family in our home for 25 years. It was I've also run a local business helping new parents, many from the Palisades, through the joys and challenges of early parenthood. The Palisades has always been our community, and we want nothing more than to return. But I'm here today to talk about the disaster after the disaster. On January 7th, our home burned to the ground. Overnight, we not only lost our house, but our safety, our stability, and our community. Sadly, our story is unique and shared by thousands of our neighbors. At first, we thought, thank goodness we have insurance. We've been loyal State Farm customers for 25 years. We trusted their promise to help us rebuild, like a good neighbor. But what we faced instead is confusion, practices. We feel alone and we feel forgotten. We cannot rebuild without fairness, honesty, and oversight. We've already survived a fire. We shouldn't have to survive a broken system too. Governor Newsom, we need your help. Your Palisades constituents have your back. Now is the time for you to have ours. Almost a year has passed since this fire. In the immediate aftermath of the devastation, you gave the Palisades fire victims hope. You made promises when the cameras were rolling to help us recover with the support of our state leaders. But now we need to see your actions behind those words. Commissioner Lara has proven he won't protect consumers. please replace him with someone who will. Californians deserve an insurance commissioner who protects families, not the insurers doing the harm. Our recovery depends on it. We are suffering, we are struggling, and we just want the chance to rebuild our lives and go home. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. What you've described isn't personal, it's systemic. California actually has some of the nation's strongest consumer protection laws. Commissioner Lara simply refuses to enforce them. The Department of Angels shows that a staggering 70% of insured survivors are receiving delays and denials, blocking their entire recovery. 8 in 10 Eaton and Palisades fire survivors are still displaced nearly a year after the fires. And most of us will lose housing coverage within months. We have an unprecedented housing crisis on our hands, which grew out of the insurance crisis on our hands. That is why it is so urgent that Governor Newsom act now. As we speak, families are draining retirement accounts and maxing out credit cards just to keep a roof over their heads. Local mental health providers are reporting a rise in suicidal ideation. This is not just about fire survivors, though. It's about every Californian who pays an insurance premium and expects a promise kept. To show how this affects entire communities, I want to bring up a leader who's been on the front lines helping survivors get back on our feet. Brandon Lamar, president of the Pasadena NAACP and founder of Project Passion. Brandon?
Good morning, everyone. For me, it's kind of hard to stand in the middle of people who are fighting for their lives every single day. But the NAACP is all about equity in our community. And what insurance is doing into our community, especially for those who have paid their premiums, is not equitable. When families are fighting every single day, fighting inside of their savings, going inside of their accounts that they should not be going inside because they did the right thing, making sure their insurance was up to date. This is the problem that we're seeing. Something that I said a long time ago is that disasters don't discriminate, but recovery does. And this is the part of recovery that is discriminating against the people that is behind it. And there's far more people than you see right here. And so this is why we are calling, as the Pasadena NAACP, we are calling for more accountability within our insurance companies. We are calling for leadership that will hold them accountable. We are calling for leadership that will make sure that every single survivor that have done what they're supposed to be doing has the means to make sure that they're back in their homes. This is what it's about. Nobody is asking for you to go over and beyond. Only thing that people are asking for you to do is pay what they deserve, pay what they have paid into. And this is the important thing for today. And so we are standing with the Eaton Fire Survivors Network. We are standing with every single survivor that is behind us. But this is not only just about local, this is about statewide. Because the important thing that we all have to understand is that this is not if another disaster is going to happen. It is when another disaster is going to happen. And when that happens, we want to make sure that all Californians have everything that they need in order to survive and make sure that they're able to rebuild their lives. And so we're standing behind them. We're standing to make sure that this has happened. We're standing to make sure that their voices are heard. And I'm glad to just be here in sign of solidarity to make sure our community is rebuilt. Thank you.
Brandon, that is so powerful. This is a warning. Our experience is a warning for every Californian who pays insurance premiums and expects the companies that they've been paying for 20 or 30 years to honor their contracts. What's shocking about all this is that so much of the suffering that you see here is needless. Families shouldn't be losing homes and health and hope because of Lara's inaction. Let me be clear. We survivors, we've done our work. We have organized and we have documented nearly 500 cases of insurer misconduct and delivered a 5-step roadmap to stop illegal delays and denials. Every elected official representing the Eaton and Palisades fire zones, from Senators Sasha Renee Perez, Ben Allen, to Supervisor Catherine Gardner, to Assembly members Parabedian and Irwin, to Mayor Bass, has joined our call for accountability. We've done the work. We've shown the path forward. And yet, Commissioner Lara still refuses to act. We just launched the site at lararesign.org, and already hundreds of Californians have signed and sent personal messages to the governor and to Commissioner Lara. Here's what some of them have said. Newsom, don't mess with fire survivors. Stop claiming you're protecting us and do your job. Lara, resign. You're supposed to protect consumers, not insurance company profits. For shame. Something smells rotten in California. It's Newsom and Lara in bed with the insurance companies. You want to run for president? Ricardo will be your undoing. The Palisades will never support you unless you clean up this mess. We will never forget what's happened to us and to our community. We both have lost our trust and support. These voices reflect what Californians already know. When insurance fails, recovery fails, and leadership must change now. I'd like to bring up Carmen Balber, Executive Director of Consumer Watchdog, to talk about the broader implications of all this.
It's Commissioner Lara's choice to stand with the insurance industry over consumers for the last 7 years that has brought us to this point. And the families behind me and families across California cannot survive another year of a commissioner who sides with the industry every single time. We are here to join consumers across the state to call on Governor Newsom to ask Commissioner Lara to resign, because we need a commissioner who will protect Californians. If Lara refuses, as reportedly he already has, then the governor needs to go to the legislative leadership and seek his impeachment, because we cannot survive another year of a commissioner who does not stand up to the insurance industry. Because of what Commissioner Lara has done, fair plan enrollment has doubled, and families like these are not getting the benefits that they paid for decades, if not generations. I wanted to just lay out a few of the details in the bombshell New York Times story that came out on the front page yesterday, so you know the most recent genesis of what is the last 7 years of Commissioner Lara's failed leadership. In the summer of 2023, in response to several insurance companies saying they were pausing sales in California, Commissioner Lara got together in a back room with the insurance industry to come up with a deal to push through the legislature in the few last weeks of session. It was apparently blessed by Governor Newsom because his staff was in on the negotiations, but that deal blew up before it ever got out of the legislature, before it ever saw the light of day, because it was a backroom deal that did not help consumers. But 3 days after the legislature closed, Commissioner Lara came forward in September 2023 and said, I made a deal with the insurance industry to fix things. I am going to give the insurance industry everything they want, less transparency, easier rate hikes, but in return, he promised that Californians would be insured again. He said that his plan would make insurance companies increase their sales in fire areas. Right away, Consumer Watchdog scrutinized the details and found that there were loopholes in that plan. But the commissioner continued to promise that he would hold insurance companies accountable. What this New York Times investigation has done is look at the data after all of those rules have been implemented to find that, in fact, fair plan enrollment doubled since the commissioner announced his deal. Insurance companies dropped far more policies than they have promised to increase due to Commissioner Lara's deal. In every respect, the insurance crisis has gotten worse because of what Lara did, not better, which is why we are joining all of these families to call on the commissioner to resign, since he's obviously already refused to do that, to ask Governor Newsom to step in. because the failure of California's insurance market will be devastating for Californians. We will have to bear that pain, and the governor should keep in mind that it will be devastating to his political ambitions as he seeks national office. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carmen. So at lauraresigns.org, you can read the investigations, see the evidence, and learn about EFSN's 5-step plan against illegal delays and denials. That is a 90-day roadmap to rebuilding a functioning insurance system for our next insurance commissioner. We're not just here today calling for new leadership, we're showing how our new insurance commissioner can act immediately. This plan is ready for day one, how to deliver early wins and end the suffering here in Los Angeles, restart the recovery, and rebuild an insurance system that all Californians can trust. The decision that Governor Newsom makes now will not only shape LA's recovery, but whether Californians can ever again trust our insurance system. Because when insurance fails, recovery fails, and California's future hangs in the balance. Read more and add your voice at lauraresigns.org. Thank you very much. The Spanish language media here, we do have somebody on site who will offer statements in Spanish. Please find us after the conclusion of this formal remarks, and we will hook you up with those individuals. Now, before we turn you loose for the on-camera stand-up interviews that I know that you all are eager to have with our survivors, does anyone have any questions for us?
When you were talking about accountability, are you talking about corruption from Mr. Lara? Are you talking about corruption, yes or no?
Are we talking about corruption from Mr. Lara? Well, we understand that Mr. Lara is currently under investigation for misuse of public funds while traveling with insurance executives. What we're really talking about here is focusing on the job of getting the LA recovery going and providing an insurance system that we all can trust.
We're doing this kind of negotiations. Can he be possible criminally prosecuted or not?
The question is, can he be up for criminal prosecution? You know, I'm not a lawyer, we're not lawyers, that's not for us to really decide. We understand that government investigators are looking into that right now. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Carmen, you might be able to address this, but as we've covered this in the past, Lara has said, maybe the governor has said, that they're trying to do something because if not, the insurance companies will walk out. There will be no insurance. You want to explain how that doesn't necessarily because that has been the excuse, that they need to make these deals because if not, the insurance companies are walking away from the state and there will be no insurance.
Well, I think the evidence is that, in fact, the insurance companies continue to leave even after we've given them everything. So that has been their excuse for the last 2 years and is why everyone has waited patiently for that to come about. But in fact, the truth is in the details. Fair plan enrollment has doubled since the governor and Lara announced that they were going to give the insurance companies everything they want. Consumers are not getting the benefits they paid for from the insurance companies that they kept, and insurance companies are still dropping people. And so the proof is in the pudding. We are not stabilizing the insurance market. In fact, it's getting worse. And if this commissioner stays, it will continue to get worse. What we need, one example that this commissioner needs to do, if you fireproof your home, you should be guaranteed access to coverage. How many of these families, they don't know if when they rebuild their homes, in 2 years they're going to have coverage. And that's outrageous. No one is holding the insurance industry to task. So what we know now is that all of those claims that if we do this, they'll stay, we're alive.
Carmen, do you want to explain a little bit more further to that question about how the mass dumping of policyholders was incentivized? Because now we're seeing all these insurance companies coming in for rate hikes, not just State Farm and Fair Plan, all of them. So can you tell us a little bit more of how the mass dumping was incentivized and the rate hikes are allowed?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that's really important about what was uncovered and what everyone's experiencing now is that Lara's promise was that insurance companies would increase their sales. But because of the loopholes in the plan, it was actually created to give insurance companies an incentive to drop policies before they started filing rate filings under the new rules. He announced the plan in 2023. He said, when this is over, I'm going to give insurance companies rate hikes using these new tools, but I'll make them increase their policies. But the start date was whenever in 2025 or 2026 they get those rate increase requests approved. That means for the last 2 years, they've been busy dumping policyholders left and right, so they have a lower baseline to start from. So for example, one insurance company that's been dropping policies over the last 2 years filed with the Department of Insurance promising to increase their policies by 408 policies in the wildfire distressed areas. But they've dropped over 1,000 over the last 2 years. So they were busy dropping policies for the last 2 years because Commissioner Lara structured the plan to incentivize insurance companies to do that.
Thank you very much, Carmen. Yes.
So should Mr. Lara resign, then what? What would you like to see then? What would change legislatively or any of that regard?
Thank you very much. So should he resign, then it will be up to the governor to appoint new leadership. And there's so many capable people in California. There's people who've already announced that they're running for insurance commissioner. Pretty much, many people could be much more preferable. We're just looking for a new leader who will enforce the laws of California and rebuild a functioning insurance system. And to help them get started, we have provided a 90-day plan that they can take action starting from day one to stop illegal delays and denials. And all of that is on LaraResign.org. Any other questions before?
Yes, I have another one.
Yes.
Have you ever requested an investigation by the state attorney Rob or the FBI on this particular matter?
Have we asked for an investigation on Lara?
Have you ever requested an investigation by the state attorney?
No, we have not requested an investigation into Lara. We've been trying for 10 months to write letters, write postcards. We're here for the 6-month anniversary of the fire. Over 400 survivors gathered and wrote 1,500 postcards to Ricardo Lara asking him to do his job and enforce the laws. We have sent him letters. We have held press conferences. We've been working, trying to get him to step up to the duties of his job. That's why today we are seeking this resolution. Any other final questions before we move on to the next segment of our program?
That would be your job as reporters to find out and do the investigations. It's not our job. We're a victim. We don't want to be victims, but no matter what, we're victims. So you guys have the investigation capabilities. You guys should be figuring that out. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, I hear.
This whole thing is about fear, and they're using fear tactics to make sure that we are victims again. They're taking advantage of us again, from Palisades to Altadena. Let's just be clear. This is not usually commissioners, after they leave being a commissioner, do you know where they go? They go to the insurance industry to work for them. Why aren't we just being clear? Like, literally, they're paid by the people that they go work for. Let's just be clear and speak it straight. Literally, they're in bed. They're paying them. He's taking money, allegedly, if we want to say that. He's been given money by the insurance companies to have his campaign, to even become what he is. So why not let us just be clear in understanding that this is another way that us as fire victims have been going through all of this. And we're tired. We're tired of all of it. We're tired of fighting. Being denied benefits, being denied what you paid for is insane. That's why everybody from the how do you go from the Palisades to Altadena? You got people complaining, saying the same thing. That's crazy. So yes, we're asking for justice, and justice is literally for what we paid for. That's like paying for a car and then somebody taking your car away from you. and saying you don't deserve it. It doesn't make sense. These are people are literally asking, and I'm one of those people. All of these people are going through the exact same thing. So again, being denied claims over and over again, that's a daily thing that we're fighting as communities. Do you know what it's like to get denied over and over and over again? To get told that you can't have a payout? It doesn't make sense. So let's just be clear. I like to shoot straight. I get tired of all the in-between talk or people being scared to say, yes, he needs to step down. Why? Because he doesn't care about us. Flat out. He doesn't care. He's doing what he needs to do for the insurance companies, not for us. That's why it's being asked for him to step down. And if the governor cares about us, which we believe he does, I'm going to say that. He needs to show that. That's what we're asking, flat out. Show that you care about us.
We're going to let Carmen Balber of Consumer Watchdog have the last word.
Well, I just wanted to call out the corruption straight out, as he asked us to. The corruption of this insurance commissioner goes back to the very beginning of his first term, when in 2019 he took money from insurance companies at secret fundraising meetings and then acted on their behalf at the Department of Insurance on matters before him. When it was uncovered by the news media, he apologized, said he didn't realize what was going on, and gave the money back. But the corruption of this commissioner goes back to day one. It's time to address it. Governor Newsom, it's time to put someone new in the job.
Thank you, Carmen. That will conclude today's formal program. These survivors are all here. Each one has an incredible story to tell. So I know that you'll enjoy interviewing them. To the news media who are here, thank you so much for being here to shine a light on what's really happening with our insurance system. We don't have $million lobbyists and PR machines and armies of lawyers to support us. We're just regular people who happen to get caught in this insurance system, this insurance collapse that our state is facing. So all we have is the ability, to tell our stories, and we're grateful to you for helping to take our stories and create the awareness and the understanding and the will that we need to create a better tomorrow for every Californian. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Lydia. And with that, please feel free to chat with any of our survivors. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, if you have not received the press release, please come forward and take one. We have the correct name spellings of everyone who spoke today and all